The studio was built so that developers and whomever is interacting with the developers can focus on making the big problems small from the very beginning all the way to the end, assuming there ever is an end with software development. So when we're talking about the brainstorming phases of a project, when you just need to get ideas out on some sort of canvas, the studio is excellent for that. You don't need to worry about implementation. You don't need to worry about setting up a dev environment. You just go to the Stately Studio. You can build out a flow of how your solution is supposed to work. And other people can look at that flow, have a conversation with you, and ask questions like, well, what happens if, or how do we recover from this, or I think I might want to go back. And you can add those possibilities, those paths into your diagram from the studio directly. And the beauty of being able to ideate in this way is that the studio doesn't hinder you by throwing all the technical know-how in your face from day one, moment one. As a matter of fact, the interface is drag and drop, boxes and arrows, and everyone can understand boxes and arrows. And obviously that gives you a lot of power, being able to collaborate and being able to ideate in that way in the very early stages of a product. But as we know, as things grow, as new variables get introduced, whole things are swapped, sometimes thrown away. But don't worry, we plan for that. When that inevitably happens, we allow the end users, that's you, to do things like save different versions of your machine under one project. So if you needed to go back in time, or if you just wanted to be able to view your project from its infancy all the way up to where it is now, you can definitely do that. And after your team is feeling really good about where you are in the design phase of the flow, if your app, for instance, has a UI component and you have a designer that you're working with, you can hand that state chart over to that designer and ask them to build screens based around these processes. We're pretty used to seeing visual mock-ups of what an application is supposed to look like, but having a visual and a logical representation of what an application is supposed to look like simultaneously is super powerful. Your logic is totally yours, and we allow you to export your state charts, your machines, to several different targets: JSON, TypeScript, JavaScript. We even have the option to boil your state chart machine down to human readable text as a story and export it to Markdown. And when you're ready to add this logic flow into your application, integrate it with every other dependency you have going on, that's when you want to export it in whatever language you prefer. And they're going to be represented as XState-based machines. But I want to be very clear here. You don't need to know XState as a developer in order to be effective with the studio. Everything I mentioned earlier, building out your logic flows, collaborating with team members, organizing and versioning your machines, all that can be done with the drag and drop interface in the studio. And we've got different subscriber tiers to match exactly what our users need on different levels. So at the community tier, we've got the ability to design flows, simulate the actual logic of your flow, and exporting those flows as code. You can do all that from community, and there's no limit to how many projects you can have. But those projects are all public. If you want private projects, you'd want to bump up to our Pro tier. The Pro tier combines everything you have in the community tier with a ton of other features as well, focused around collaboration and teamwork. So you can have things like private projects with a select number of contributors if you'd like. You can save different versions of your machines and flows over time. You can even synchronize your machines with GitHub. So as you save your work in the Stately Studio, it gets updated as a commit in your GitHub repo, allowing for a single source of truth, which is really important for dev teams. You can also build flows with AI in the Pro tier. You can use our AI agent, feed it a prompt, tell it exactly what events you need to happen, and it'll give you back a full-on state chart that represents it. It's a great way to get past that fear associated with an empty page or a blank canvas. Finally, there's the Enterprise tier. This subscription tier is designed primarily for larger teams with very specific needs. So if you need things like dedicated support, custom hosting options like self-hosting or hosting the server in a very specific location, or the ability to embed Stately in your own applications and prioritize feature requests, And I think that's all of it. I think I got across everything right here. I hit my mic.